Namaste, everyone. I am going to give you a general oracle, and today is the full moon Virgo. So I'm going to give you all some activations for the full moon Virgo that can best help you move forward. I call upon Archangel Michael to my right, call upon Archangel Gabriel behind me, call upon Archangel Metatron to my left. Ahead of me, I call upon Archangel Zachiel. Above me, I call upon Mother Mary. Below me, I call upon Mary Magdalene. I call upon the earth angels, the spirit guides, and the archangels to surround me. I seek for guidance that is inspiring, empowering, and uplifting. My intention is clear. My intention is to receive guidance that is healing, inspiring, and empowering. My intention is for all messages to heal everyone who will watch this and to encourage everyone to pursue prosperity, to believe in themselves, and to move forward towards their high self-esteem, their high self-worth. My intention is for this oracle to be a tool, a pathway towards higher love, towards creativity, and towards abundance. May this be very uplifting, and may this be very, very therapeutic. So I'm going to dive right in. So I'm using this particular deck, one of my favorite decks, called Earth Magic. So again, I'm going to call upon the angels. I'm going to see what is the guidance for us at this time. Guidance that is uplifting, empowering, that can help us to heal, grow, and excel. Okay. What is the guidance for us at this time? What does everybody need to know most that can be very reassuring, relaxing, and calming for everyone? What do we need to know most at this time? What do we need to know most at this time? Okay, I'm pulling 3 cards from this deck. What do we need to know most at this time? So the first card we have is Perspective Milky Way. So many of us are expanding beyond previous ideas in the way we were governed by previous ideas, or even a previous mindset that was we were governed by. And I feel a lot of us are starting to open up our imagination, open up our mind to other ways in which we can express ourselves. I feel a lot of us maybe have confined ourselves, restricted ourselves to a particular belief, right? Or a particular mindset or way about going about things. And I feel a lot of us are starting to open up. We're starting to think outside the box. Right, we're becoming quite innovative in the way that we are expressing ourselves, in the way that we could even be inviting in fresh ideas into our business if we are business minded, right? Or if we're a manager of a business. And a lot of us are starting to also invite in innovative people into our team, because I'm seeing this circle. You see this inner circle, right? A lot of us are starting to clear away ideas, beliefs, or even people that attach us to an old mindset or to an old way of doing things that is out of date. And with this perspective in the Milky Way, it really looks like we're thinking outside the box. That this is a time to reinvent yourself. This is a time to really expand beyond the ways of the past, because as you know, in astrology, right, even in cosmology, this time on the planet is very transformative for every human being. And this particular decade is very transformative. So there's a lot of innovation that's going to be happening in a lot of outdated mindset, outdated beliefs, outdated ways in which we're governed by is going to be remodeled, right? Everything is going to be remodeled. So for those of you who are, people who think outside the box, people who invite in unique ideas, fresh ideas, ideas that may not be, drinking from the Kool-Aid, right? Copycat. I feel that that's, keep going with that for those of you who are, you can say innovators, in the way that you may seem like a futurist or ahead of the trend, or that you might not fit into the circle, right? The inner circle, whatever that may mean for your particular artistry or your expression, or your talent, or your kind of your gift, your offering. It may not fit inside the circle, but what I'm seeing is that a lot of old mindsets can no longer hold their position in the inner circle because they're so outdated. It's almost like they're just so hardened, and almost like there's no life, right? Have you seen these type of people that they have access to the inner circle, right? But they just have no life. They have no creativity. It's like they're dull. It's like they can't they can't really expand themselves. They can't really think originally, right? It just becomes like keep copying the same thing, or just putting out the same thing but in different ways, right? Even when it comes to business. So I definitely feel with this perspective and the Milky Way, what I'm seeing is that I do see intuitively, I do see a mountain of people, right? Sometimes I see this in my psychic eye. I see a mountain of people trying to climb over each other, and they're trying to climb over each other, trying to get whatever they want to get. But it's usually the individual who actually has kind of stepped outside, right? Meaning stepped outside that kind of way of doing things and really thoroughly thought, or in deep thought, is usually the individual who has the brightest idea, right? Is usually the person who was not entangled, wrapped up in, it's almost like a bunch of weeds that are just kind of entangled in each other, trying to basically get something from each other, right? Usually the person who kind of went over, to the side, kind of just observed and kind of, sort of separated themselves from that, is usually the individual who's a deep thinker or deep in thought, is usually the one who has the brightest and usually the most, you could say, the brightest mind. Because again, contemplation, meditation, it does make you very makes you very clear, makes you a very clear channel. But when you're entangled amount of people trying to climb over each other, it makes it very messy. It makes it very murky, right? The energy is very murky. So with the Milky Way, a lot of us, have this kind of cosmic vibration, or we've been focusing on a lot of spirituality, right? On raising our vibration and really getting clarity of mind and having these sort of transcendental experiences, either through mantra, either through yoga, either through sort of like a healing journey, right? Or some sort of healing modality that we're using, right? To really help us to connect higher. So a lot of us are wanting to experience this kind of cosmic awareness, right? To really help us think outside the box and to really open up our imagination, because this is the time to really open up your imagination. And those who have a high imagination are usually the individuals who are ahead of the curve, and usually they're the pioneers, and they're usually the individuals that are the new era. And you will be greatly rewarded for basically pioneering a new era, either a new era of sound, a new era of technology, a new era of intelligence, a new era of education, a new era of whatever it is. But inviting that in and integrating that, embodying that, actually is challenging, right? It's actually challenging, right? It's very, very challenging because, when let's say you're in a mountain of people climbing over each other, it's very hard to actually think outside the box when you just have so much murkiness and just so much noise. It's really hard to think outside the box when everything around you just keeps you in the box, just keeps you like a mountain of people climbing over each other. It's very, very difficult to think outside the box when you're just around everyone. When you're just around everyone who is, again, they're in an inner circle, they may have access to things, tangible things, resources, whatnot, but they don't have access to their own clarity of mind. And that's the great struggle. It's like you're in the inner circle, but you don't have access to the clarity of your own mind. So imagination, it is really the key. It really is the key to unlocking higher creativity, higher intelligence that will keep it really keeps you, it raises the bar, but also helps you to maintain that bar, right? So the next card we have is Instinct, Wolf. So instinct is about, we know, right? Instinct is very much about listening and trusting yourself, right? Like I said, the mountain of people, it's very hard to be instinctual when you just got the smell of flesh everywhere around you, right? When you're just so interlocked with all these people, right? It's very hard to be instinctual. It's very hard to listen and trust yourself. And then you have conflict with yourself, you're battling yourself, you're at duel with yourself, and that can be very, very exhausting, right? To just constantly be in a mental conflict, like back and forth, like a pendulum. It's very, very difficult to actually, it's exhausting, right? So a lot of us with the instinct card, a lot of us are starting to kind of separate ourselves from the mountain of people climbing over each other for I don't know what, right? Whatever their gain or their agenda is. And I feel like a lot of us are starting to even connect with nature. And a lot of us are really starting to connect with our physical body. And not just through like pumping it out and exercise, right? Well, blasting music. I feel like a lot of us are connecting to our body through the lenses of like a healing journey. Like the movement of the body is about connecting with the aura, connecting with the chakras, or connecting with the clarity of the mind, right? We're starting to desire to really connect with our sensual side, right? What does it mean to be tapped into my body? What does it mean to be whole with my body, to appreciate my body, right? To actually be connected to the earth, right? So a lot of us are becoming more grounded. We're actually becoming more connected to the earth. And in becoming more connected to the earth is actually opening up our imagination. And then we're really moving our perspective away from a mountain of people climbing over each other to get somewhere, right? And we're really opening our perspective into instinct, like my instinct, my intuition, my sensuality, right? And in kind of, you see this kind of mist. Mist is very refreshing. Mist is very, very it clears, right? It kind of clears out the land, right? It's very, very therapeutic for a forest. Mist, very, very healing, right? Very, very healing for a forest, right? When you think of mist, it's very detoxifying. Being in a mist, like it detoxifies your pores, right? It kind of cleans you out internally. Mist, right? Mist, right? Because we think of mist, but it's carried from the water, the ocean, or a major lake or major river, right? So it can carry a lot of the minerals, a lot of the crystalline minerals that they can absorb through your pores, get into your blood, and it's very flushing, it's very detoxifying. So I feel a lot of us are wanting to, we're really stepping away from the amount of people climbing over each other for their agenda and their gain, whatever that is, their attention, right? We know the new age of technology is about how much attention you have, right? So the more attention you have, the more, cryptocurrency you have, right? And that's going to be the new thing, right, of the future of technology, right? So with that, we're going to see a lot of charlatans, right? We're going to see, our wanky integrity is just going to kind of, it's going to move into that, right? So instinct also is about your integrity. It also is about not selling yourself short, not just getting into whatever projects or endeavors just for whatever, right? And really starting to trust yourself, and really starting to wanting to raise the bar, right? Raise the caliber of whatever how you see yourself, how you view yourself, how you even view your success in the future, really raising the bar. And that's challenging. It's both challenging, but it's also greatly rewarding, because it's going to put you in an environment with people who are actually at the next bar, right? So a lot of us, we're not just going to be just selling ourselves short, just, whoever wants to kind of connect with us, we'll connect with them. I feel like a lot of us are wanting to raise the bar and wanting to connect with, when I think of instinctual people, people of like integrity, right? People who, who have this high level of like discernment, right? They're very vigilant, and they also have this sort of trust in themselves, right? I usually see these individuals as like visionaries, right? When we look at the pack of wolves, we think of them as very, very strategic, very, very intelligent, and very purposeful, right? So I feel like a lot of us are going to be this pack that we may have, or this team we may have. We're really going to up the bar and kind of even challenge our team if we have a team, right? In the way that it's like the bars being raised. I keep seeing that with imagination and creativity. It's no longer just selling it short, doing it short, half-assing, so what, giving a little bit here and there. Like, I feel like we're really going to be challenging the bar. So, third card we have is invocation. Invocation. So this is ceremony. Very, very interesting. So this is what a lot of us are doing, or we're going to be connecting with this. You see that she's very much in a ritual, right? She's in a ritual. She has the crystals, like she's making a brew, right? So a lot of us are going to be tapping into our ceremonious, ritualistic kind of side of human, right? Which I feel like a lot of us are going to invite in sort of a ritualistic, ceremonious kind of, it could be like a shamanistic journey, a sort of indigenous, it's like an indigenous experience, right? That's very common to matriarchal societies, right? That and a lot of us are going to be tapping into this other side of life, what it means to be human, right? And we're really, if we have felt that we've had negative ties or negative attachments, or we've had even negative energies, a lot of us, we talk about like negative influences, like we're being watched by dark forces or whatever that is, that's been holding us back from truly expressing ourselves. We're going to break the chain. We're going to break whatever that is. It could even feel like it's like some sort of curse or whatever, some sort of a delay or some sort of halt or just some sort of even addiction that has caused us to feel really tied or really bound, or even very, very like kind of held away from the next caliber because of this darker energy. And a lot of this is also saying that the dark night of the soul, because the dark night of the soul is also about ritual, meaning it's basically a spiritual ritual that's happening involuntary. Dark night of the soul, where it's helping you basically to clear out, like purge, right? Purge through sweat, through tears, through emotions. Usually it comes out through the emotional body. Even it can be seen as depression for a lot of people. Really clearing out these dark ties, these darker energies, these dense sort of energies within us, these lower vibrations, so that we can level up, right? In order to really level up, we do have to let some things go, some dense energies, right? It's very hard to move forward, right? And to climb the mountain when our body is so heavy, right? So in many ways we sweat, we even during the dark night of the soul, we can even lose a lot of weight, we can sweat a lot, we can even have a lot of tears, we can have a lot of emotions that come out, and we can even lose a lot of emotional weight, emotional baggage, psychological baggage during the dark night of the soul. But really what this is we're definitely connecting with source, and we're definitely really finding this, we're really using this spirituality to really almost like burning through the karma. A lot of us are burning through karma, and if we don't know what that is, a lot of us are burning through karma, through ritual, through ceremony. That, again, it's very shamanistic, it's very indigenous, right? Belonging to a matriarchal society. But a lot of us are connecting with people in a team, right? Like our soul family, like, the pack, like we could say we're being, I don't feel like we're alone. I feel like we're in a group, in a community, right? Where we're just burning through our karma, was just burning through it, right? Like the dark night of the soul, kind of just burning through it. And I feel that I just feel like there's this white blanket over us while we sleep. And this white blanket represents the prayer that the ancestors have for us, as well as that the angels have for us. It's like we're being blanketed by almost like a white robe or something, right? While we sleep or just throughout the day, we're just being blanketed by this white robe from the angels and from the ancestors. And that's really giving us not only protection, utter protection, but it's also giving us clarity, and it's also giving us it's helping us to burn through, like almost like we're sweating. I feel like we're just sweating. There's something about sweating and sweating off this karma or whatever it is that's had us holding back, or we felt like we were held down, right? Kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, right? And I feel like a lot of us are really regaining our spiritual strength. So if we felt in any way that we have been disconnected from source, if there has been destroyers who try to, take from us or, whatever, steal from us, a lot of us are gaining back our spiritual strength. And a lot of us at this time are recovering from any sort of spiritual battle that we've had to undergo, right, as a test from the angels of our will and of our strength, right? Spiritual battle is a test of your will and your strength. And a lot of us have succeeded. And in succeeding, we have gained even more spiritual power. And that it's almost like it can't be challenged. So a lot of us have felt spiritually challenged by the spiritual attacks, the negative forces or whatnot. We have felt violated, or we have felt this invasive energy around us from people who maybe don't have the best interest at heart, right? Could be jealousy, could be I want something, the amount of people climbing over each other, right? And I feel like we've stepped away from the mountain of people climbing over each other, and I feel that we're really gaining back our spiritual strength, and we've passed a major test, like a major spiritual test. And the way that whatever spiritual attack was going on, whatever kind of a spiritual warfare that was happening internally, I feel like we've actually come to this place where we're gaining our strength back, right? With the instinct, it's almost like we may have felt really confined or limited, but we're really expanding and really burning through the disease, right? Like a forest, a forest fire is a natural it can be a natural occurrence about burning disease, because a tree that has disease can spread until the whole tree system, right? Meaning the whole forest can have disease. So I feel like the disease could also be a disease, dis-ease, like anything that has caused dissonance, disruption, destruction, dysfunction, right, in the body. The fire, right, that the sweat, the tears, the dark night of the soul, right, which is happening here like a candle, right, is burning the dis-ease, the disruption, the distraction, the disconnect, the destruction that may be around us as like a form of a spiritual attack, right? And a lot of us have successfully navigated through, it could be the trenches, right? Whatever that is, right? We all go through that as a test of our will and a test of our strength. And I'm just noticing in the back that there is like a woman, like a body that is like of a pregnant body. Never noticed that before. So a lot of us are very fertile. There's definitely this snake as well. So I'm definitely connecting with fertility. And with the thing of her head, there's almost like this glowing crown chakra. You see this glowing crown chakra. I feel like there's also you could say a child, like a spirit in this image of like a spirit child that is going to come through. And I don't feel like this is something that's going to come through just in any situation. Like this isn't just a spirit baby that, you know, some just, they want to come in, they don't care about the arrangements of that, right? This spirit baby is I feel like this is coming through, this is coming through, it's almost like you're through this sort of spiritual strength. It's connecting with this, I don't know, this spiritual child, or feeling called to have this this particular child. But this child is I'll go more into that because I've never noticed that before. But again, this feels like a spiritual child that's coming in to a particular setup. Like this spiritual child may, it has a lot of energy, a lot of imagination, a lot of intelligence. You know, it's almost like it doesn't come from the Milky Way. It doesn't come from the Milky Way. It's almost like this spiritual child comes from another solar system within another galaxy. But it's coming in, it's been summoned in because of the great vortex or portal of high spiritual energy you're creating. Like literally you created like a interstellar portal on Earth, in your home, in your life, in your aura, that all of a sudden has almost like created this major sort of, I don't know, cosmic vibration that opened up some sort of gateway for this spirit to come into this earth plane. Because this spirit definitely feels of a higher vibration, one that is not necessarily compatible with this earth vibration, meaning this earth is a lot denser. The physical is a lot denser than where this being is from. But they're coming in almost like they're in the halo, like almost like their energy is already kind of around this, the sort of the higher chakras. Like it's already, the energy of that being is already with you, like already raising your vibration significantly, like it's already kind of around you, making the necessary adjustments, like it chose you. Because you have passed the test. Like you've proven yourself, like spiritually, you've proven yourself, like again, I feel like you've had spiritual attacks, spiritual warfare, and you've proven yourself that you have the strength and the will to win, right? And almost like they're choosing you because you actually will fight for them, stand up for them, and you actually will accept them for their creativity and for their intelligence, meaning you're not going to cage them, shame them. You're not going to tell them to stop it. You're not going to tell them that, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that. You're going to be like, you want to have this, you want to, be this kind of inventor or intelligent person. I will help you. What do I will help you in the best way that I can, best knowing I have to do that for you. So I feel like the reason why you have this sort of expansion of the mind, or you have this acceptance of this particular being, almost like ET or something, because you have this sort of understanding within yourself through opening up spiritually and through really seeing things for what it is, almost like, the mountain of people climbing over each other. And that's happening in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, there is a mountain of people climbing over each other, right? Trying to get somewhere. It's almost like it's trying to get their whatever, they want something, they want it. But the individual who's usually on the side, just kind of separate, is usually the one who actually is the one who is usually, again, has the most intelligent, smart kind of person they are, right? So a lot of you are also mediums. A lot of you, there's a lot of ancestors coming to you, because you are, again, when you go through this dark night of the soul, when you've purged a lot of this these restrictions and these things that hold you back and these negative forces, you actually open up spiritually. So much so where you really start to feel like you start to earn these particular doorways. Again, this seems so spiritual, but you begin to earn these doorways to these hidden realms that are on earth, but only the elite can access. It's kind of weird, but we know about, the Masons, and we know about, these particular groups of people who, who have, kind of hoarded a lot of the, esoterics, right? Preserved it, kind of taken it from themselves, right? And usually these lineages are kind of white men, right? In many ways, right? But I feel like a lot of you are opening up doors, like you through this spiritual acceptance and overcoming this spiritual battle and regaining your strength. A lot of you are opening up doors to higher knowledge or higher intelligence or higher creativity, like even abundance. Like you're being granted permission into these next level of experience, is like, higher creativity, higher abundance, because of your spiritual strength and because of you have mastered so much spiritually. And I feel like it hasn't been easy. You've had to listen to your instincts, right? You had to listen to your instincts. You've had to fight off disease, and that could be dysfunction in the mind, that could be trauma in the body. You had to fight off you had to burn through your karma, right? You had to burn through the karma, not letting the karma, molest you and violate you and put you into this kind of guilt and this regret, right? This total sort of collapse of you. I'm going to pull a card about this invocation. It definitely feels, we're definitely connecting with our ancient sort of knowledge for a lot of us, and it's happening just in a psychic enhancement, meaning that we have psychic gifts that were dormant, but now since we're becoming more instinctual, becoming like a godfather or a godmother, that's the status of the instinct. The wolf is like a godfather or godmother, right? Wolves are guardians of the forest, right? When you see that wolf, you know that they're the top, right? They're the higher status, right? They're high ranking in the forest, right? They're revered, right? For their intelligence, they're very strategic, and for their teamship. They're revered for how organized their team is, right? Even when you hear wolves, when you hear them howling, it's like a symphony, and no wolf has the same pitch, right? They all change their pitch according to each other. So no two wolves had the same sort of pitch, right? It's all different. And when you hear it all together, it really is it awakens the forest, right? So it's really about each wolf is an individual, right? Accepted, right? But also has a responsibility to the safety and to the good nature of the team. And a lot of us are experiencing that. And also, the wolf also is very strict and stern. A wolf will, it will put you in, it was like tough love, right? It's not going to allow mayhem, right? Mayhem, right? So we'll look at the ceremony invocation. Look at this card and see what this is about. Definitely feel mediumship. I just keep feeling like there's spirits that are communicating, and you're receiving them, and you're allowing them to come in. You're not restricting them. You're not sort of blocking them off. You're becoming more receptive to your instinct, your psychic abilities. That is your ancient knowledge, right? It's your cosmic awareness, right? And I feel like these spirits are giving you ideas about imagination, even ideas about like inventions or strategic sort of plans on how to go about a business proposition or project. They're helping you to find ways to move the energy, right? And it's all happening through, they know how to have the spiritual alchemy, right? What spiritually grows materially shows. I'll just leave it like that, right? And that's an ancient Egyptian truth. What spiritually grows materially shows, right? And that's why the amount of people, they don't know that. The amount of people, they're just draining their physical life, not understanding that it's not the physical life that is demanded of you. It's the spiritual that's demanded of you, right? Because the physical life is very small portion of the spiritual life. Very, very small. It's like 20% is like the physical, 80% is very much like the spiritual, right? So we spend almost like 20% of, you could say, our eternity in physical and like 80% in spiritual, right? So and when we don't have a spiritual sort of connection or sort of a spiritual rod and to kind of channel, we can just drain all our energy. We be climbing a mountain of people all day long, still not get what we want, and just be drained physically, right? Just be drained, right? So let's look at the ceremony card and see what else we have. So also we're really focusing on refining our gifts and our talents as well. And also like we're really awakening our psychic abilities. If we have felt dormant, we're definitely awakening that in the way that we're actually using that to help us to connect with the spiritual side, right? The 80% of our life. And we're also, we do want to think outside the box, because what's going on in this new decade is definitely, we want to be a futurist. We don't want to be on the curve. We don't want to be on the curve. We don't want to be behind. We actually want to be a futurist, because time is moving so quickly. Everyone's moving so quickly. It's almost like if you're not ahead of the curve, you're behind, right? Or you're just same, right? You don't want, it's almost like you don't want people to just expect that they're just going to get this from you. You want people to like be like kind of amazed, right, by whatever it is that is being shown. And usually you people are very psychic, and they're also very spiritual. People can sense what is half-assed. They can sense, right, within somebody the lack of wholeness, or the wholeness within a person, right? The voids, the holes in somebody, and they can also sense the wholeness of somebody. So we have celebration. It's like celebration, synergy. So definitely feeling synergy and celebration. Is feeling energized, feeling inspired. And it's because we've listened to our spirit. It's like the whole gateway has opened to us because we've listened to our spirit, right? We're no longer caging back our ideas, our imagination, our psychic ability. We're like, F that, right? A lot of us are really, really embracing this ancient knowledge, these ancient incarnations that we've had on Earth. And we're like feeling very, very lucky, very, very much good fortune, because we listened to our instincts. That saved our life from getting interlocked with the wrong people that are there, as destroyers. It helped us to really move forward towards connections that are actually meant to, like a pack of wolf, like meant to challenge you, kind of help you, right, in the way that, helps you find your individuality, if you're a little bit murky or confused about that, but also to help you find your proper team, your appropriate team, because and how to be a team player, how to really how to, again, it's also protection. Wolves are very protective over their young, very protective. So there's also a sense of being protective over what you've discovered within yourself and within your people around you, keeping it close, keeping it not letting a mountain of people try to come in and do whatever. You're staying away from the mountain of people. So celebration and synergy, I feel like there's great abundance with the synergy card, like tangible abundance, like wealth. But it's a celebration because this wealth is coming in almost miraculously. It's coming in with such good news, such good fortune. And I feel like it's coming in because you remained faithful to your instinct, your intuition, and also this abundance is coming in because you're ahead of the curve. Your perspective is one that is so unique, that is so creatively edgy and creatively distinct and sort of new, right? Something that just doesn't fit into whatever you're drinking from the Kool-Aid. It's almost like you make your own Kool-Aid type of thing. And I feel like that's going to give you a celebration, because we see the green man as you got the green thumb, right? The Midas touch type of thing. You got the green thumb, right? Meaning you know how to grow, right? And you understand now what spiritually grows, materially shows. So if we're spiritually drained, spiritually attacked, spiritually tied up in ruts with all these people that don't deserve our time, energy, you bet that will materially show in the way that materially we'll start to feel our projects, our endeavors are not really of that quality. They don't really have that, they're not as fruitful, right? And you can tell like sort of a tomato plant, that is very fruitful, and one that's kind of, you could tell it's drained, right? Or the tomato has been drained, right? Meaning it wasn't fed properly, right? Water, right? The soil, it wasn't taken care of well. You know the difference between very, very fine tomatoes and kind of tomatoes that weren't cared for. And that represents your spiritual self, the soil, the water you give to yourself. If you're trying to grow tomatoes without water or dirty water, or trying to grow tomatoes in soil that is just full of plastic, what's going to show is the tomato is not going to look good, right? And everybody will know, even the tomato itself might taste like plastic, right? Because you have plastic in the soil, right? So I feel like a lot of us, there's also the celebration, like with, again, these ancient sort of, ancient roots. A lot of us are connecting with ancient roots. We're really, we might even be incorporating ancient roots, ancient style of music, ancient style of dance, ancient sort of philosophy or theology, or some sort of even ancient sort of practice or society, and we're incorporating that into our strategy or into our creativity, and it's actually extremely unique and powerful. It's actually future ahead of the trend, in the perspective, right? It's like you're inviting in this sort of, this ancient whatever knowledge, or connecting with the ancient society of style or rhythm or fashion or philosophy, and you're incorporating that in some way to your artistry, and it's actually bringing about this it's super expansive perspective. It's really helping you to break out of the box. So I'm pulling some cards from the Angels of Atlantis Oracle deck and just kind of see any more guidance that we have. But synergy is also about the wolf. In synergy is really about you are connecting with teammates that are actually like tough love. Like they actually kind of they challenge the way you perceive. They challenge the way you think. They're not like you. Meaning the wolves, like, they roughhouse. They challenge each other's egos. Wolves have egos. They challenge each other's egos. You could see it. Constantly challenge, kind of playing with each other's egos. Like, yeah, you think you got the ego? Well, I got the ego, right? And it works because in that sort of challenge, it really keeps everybody, creative, and kind of keeps everybody in like a discussion with each other, right? The one thing you don't want is no one to ever challenge your ego, no one to ever kind of challenge your idea or your mindset. That's just going to keep you fixed. You don't want to be fixated. You want to be flexible. You want to be agile. You want to be you want to have a mind that can think ahead or think beyond, right? That's imaginative. But ego, when your ego's not challenged, like a wolf pack, it just keeps everything the same. It just keeps you a certain way, right? But the wolf, they're not about a certain way. If they have to change their strategy and the way they hunt, they will. They're not just going to keep doing the same thing, because they know they have to be smart. They have to try new things. They have to have new strategies, right? So we'll pull some more cards about this particular general oracle. But celebration really is about celebrating you and celebrating your spirituality, how far you've come, and also celebrating that you actually listen to your instinct and no longer are you giving into a mountain of people climbing over each other. And synergy is also about choosing your friends and your people wisely, and also regaining your Midas touch, your green thumb. You're starting to grow something that is actually very fruitful. And the reason that it's starting to grow is because you're also starting to take back your spiritual power, and no longer are you allowing yourself to feel this dark night of the soul is really burning the karma and really burning through all of these spiritual attacks and all of these emotional sort of pains and these emotional stagnancies and all this emotional entrapment and emotional judgment, right? So we have dreams, resting, recuperating, recovering, having a lot of experiences even of really unlocking the mind, really opening up. Really just it's a time to relax. It's a time to replenish, because a lot of us have been through some spiritual attacks, and it may not seem like that in the physical, right? But spiritually, you've been battling depression. Spiritually, you have, my ears are ringing, battling depression. You have been battling, it could even be anxiety. It can be even addiction, and all of that is a spiritual attack. It's all a form of the inner destroyer. We all have an inner destroyer, inner enemy, right? Inner destroyer is battling with your inner Shakti, or inner, you could say Shiva, right? Which is your liberated self, your empowered self. And a lot of us have a battle, right? It's like the inner destroyer, the enemy is constantly battling the liberated self, the empowerment in us, constantly throwing us all these temptations, all these kinds of entanglements, all these kinds of habits and behaviors, right? That we've had to overcome to really get to this position where we are almost spiritually earned this celebration, right? This victory, right? Then we have divine intelligence. So again, we're expanding our imagination, we're expanding our thoughts, we're raising the bar, the caliber. No longer are we just going to participate in a particular group of people, right, that don't inspire us, that don't really give us the next level, that don't challenge us to express ourselves, that keep us in the same old. And then we have mercy. So mercy is about, during the dark night of the soul, depression, a form of anxiety, a form of like recovering from addiction, we're giving ourselves mercy, meaning a lot of us, we've been very hard on ourselves, very judgmental for our decisions, our past, even the way that we've responded or the way we've reacted. We're giving ourselves mercy, we're giving ourselves compassion. When the divine is giving us mercy, the divine is saying, I free you of this. You don't have to be bounded. You don't have to live your life feeling that you are in debt or with this people or with yourself, that you don't have to live feeling that you are bounded, right, to a person, a place, or thing because of something, right? It's almost like the divine is helping you to pay off any sort of debt that you've had, a karmic debt with any person, place, or thing that was due to a bad decision or distrust or lack of intuition. So it's almost like I'm hearing your spiritual debt is being paid off, meaning just by you spiritually growing and just by you really reclaiming your self-esteem, and that alone, it burns through any karma that you may feel. Just you regaining your self-worth, your self-esteem, and starting to assert that into the world, it burns through your karma. Just by raising your self-esteem and self-worth, you don't have to play out incarnations with these people that you feel tied to or they feel tied to you. You don't have to play it out. You don't have to, in this life you're indebted to them, in the next life you're indebted to them, and just keep playing that again and again. You don't have to do that. Just raise your self-worth and raise your self-esteem, and that in turn will burn through it for you, right? We don't have to live our incarnation in guilt or regret or tied to somebody, right? Whatever that may be, just raise your self-worth, raise your self-esteem, love yourself so thoroughly, and that in turn will grant you access to freedom, right? So celebration is almost like the mercy, right? In giving yourself mercy and you know, through like really trusting your instincts and moving away from those that, you know, really create this, that really try to destroy you in any way, right? You're starting to feel more confident. You're starting to get back your synergy, which is like your flow, right? Your flow, your creativity, your edge, right? Because your edge really does have to do with your edge. It has to do with futurists. When you think of anybody who has creative edge, you're like, they're a futurist, right? They're not just drinking from the Kool-Aid because everyone's doing it, because everybody does it. And I'm telling you, the people who are drinking from the Kool-Aid are a mountain of people climbing over each other, you know, thinking they're going to get something, but no, it starts from the foundation. It starts from the soil up, right? If you don't have, again, if you don't have the spirit, doesn't matter how much you chase, you hustle, hassle. If you don't have the spirit, good luck, right? You're just going to be draining your physical lifeline, right? It's about the spirit. It's about the roots. You need to have solid roots, right? You know, a tree cannot grow without roots, right? Think of a big 12,000-year-old tree. Those roots probably extend at least 70 feet deep in the earth and 70 feet out in all directions. At least 70 feet, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of us, our spiritual cord only goes like maybe 2 feet, right? And then we think that we can just muscle it out. If we hustle and hassle, that will just get us somewhere. But the amount of people in the spiritual realm usually doesn't get us anywhere. It just exhausts us spiritually, mentally. So I feel a lot of us are, the mercy, right? The mercy really does have to do with the Holy Spirit. And when I mean Holy Spirit, I really mean about your inner child. Have you ever seen a child bless an adult? It's like the Holy Spirit, right? When a child forgives a parent who has abused them or raped them, that's the Holy Spirit right there. When you've seen a 7-year-old forgive their father for molesting them since they were 4, that's the Holy Spirit right there. I just want to cry. You know what I'm saying? Because be so fragile and so sensitive, you know, so vulnerable, and to forgive their destroyer, that's the Holy Spirit right there. So I feel like we're forgiving the destroyer, whoever that may be for us. We're forgiving the destroyer, and we're recognizing that the destroyer is a part of, you know, how Shiva became Shiva and Shakti became Shakti. You know, Krishna, Shiva, all of these sort of ancient beings, they became who they were because of their challenge, because of the much battle they had to face. Like Krishna and Shiva, it was tough throat, you know, it was, you know, not, it was faint of heart. You know, the destroyer, it comes in very in sneaky ways, right? In addiction, anxiety, doubt, right? But for you to just continue to celebrate and to maintain your roots, I'm telling you, when somebody has deep roots, you just know they're an old soul. You just know spiritually they're doing something, right? Because you don't need to hustle and hassle and drain your life force to get somewhere, right? It's set up for you. The whole expansion of your branches is set up the deeper the roots you have. So I'm gonna pull some cards from the message from the angels and just kind of see what the last messages we have for this reading. Messages from the angels. So we have, I am helping you heal physical challenges in yourself and others. You are a healer like me. So we're really working with our ancient roots, again, of healing. And we're really overcoming the physical challenges that may have, you know, blocked emotions, blocked feelings, you know, mental entrapment, you know, kind of mindsets that are lacking creativity. And then we have, you are a spiritual teacher. You have the ability to consult others and help them awaken their spiritual gifts and divine life mission. So again, there's a lot of things about being a healer, Akasha, A lot of you are wisdom holders, very old soul. You're awakening these ancient healing modalities. Many of you are starting to embrace your spiritual offering, your earth magic, and you're starting to share that bravely, without sort of insecurity or without doubt. And then we have Sonia. I bring you a message from your deceased loved ones. I am happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. Mediumship. Again, your ancestors, a lot of these spirits on the other side in the spiritual realm. I'm not talking about earthbound spirits. I'm talking about higher vibrational beings who are not from this world are coming to you. And they're coming to you because you actually have the mind that can actually receive their information. Your mind is very high calibrated because of you're starting to meditate upon the Akasha. You're starting to meditate upon your ancient roots. You're starting to meditate upon your past lives. And in doing so, it's expanding your mind. Your mind, a lot of the mind is being totally recalibrated, up-leveled tremendously. So I'm going to see what is the message from the deceased loved ones. They're saying that they're helping you work through these challenges, these difficulties that are the spiritual warfare that's really testing you right now, breaking you down. So, Sonia, what is the message from the deceased loved one? Family. I am an angel of families. A happy change or addition is coming to your family. So the ancestors are preparing you for pregnancy for many of you, because this is about you see a woman having a baby. So the ancestors are literally bringing you a baby. That's what I'm getting. They're actually bringing you a baby. Also, if you've had a baby and had a you can say had any form of like you lost a child, right? It could be during pregnancy, or soon after you gave birth, or a young child that is deceased. The child is actually helped by the angels are with the child, and they're helping they're guiding the child to the higher vibrations, and that the timing wasn't right for you to have that child, and that the timing wasn't right for that child, and that they actually decided to leave. And to not feel guilty, or to not feel that you have karma because of that, like negative karma, to give yourself mercy for any sort of decisions you made regarding children. If you're a father or mother, you felt like you were not there for your child, there's forgiveness the child is giving you, right? They understand that it's hard on this earth, right? And that the many spiritual tests we have to go through, it takes a lot of our energy, and that they forgive you for not being there or not accepting them, or they even are there to let you know that they're very much healthy on the other side if they died very young. The timing wasn't right, that it was their decision. They decided to leave, right? They came, but they decided to leave the earth early. Many of them just wanted to experience maybe just young childhood. Many of them just wanted to experience what it is to actually be born, and that the pain of this earth for many was a lot, right? Coming into this life is can be very challenging for a being, because coming from a very high vibration into this dense plane can sometimes it's not a easy transition, and sometimes the transition it doesn't it can fail in many ways. So there's that. But I also feel for many of you there's pregnancy in the way that this child is, for many of you may just have one child, just one, right? But this child is one that is very precious to you, and one that is, again, of a higher vibrational being who is not of this earth, but has come with knowledge, come with ancient knowledge. This child is from the Akasha realm, which is the library, right? From the space in time of knowledge, wisdom, learning. This person is a learning soul, has learned a lot, learns the cosmos, learns, other planets. So for some of you, this being is like Akasha. This person may even have the middle name Akasha, right? Their name might even be Akasha. Could even be a boy, right, named Akasha. But in the back of the deck, the last messages I have is time out. You've been so busy taking care of others' needs, but now it's time to stop and take care of yourself. And then the other card we have is when you take excellent care of yourself, everybody benefits. Give yourself a relaxing treat today, such as a massage, sea salt bath, or pedicure. So again, the main message is really just relax and know that whatever it is that you're desiring, or whatever it is that is your celebration, your great victory, your great joy, they're saying that you have earned this. You can say you have earned this opening. You have opened the door spiritually, and what spiritually grows materially shows. You have opened the door. You have proven yourself creative. You've proven yourself instinctual, right? You have passed many tests, and you continue to pass tests on your discernment, on your courage, right, on your love for self and others, and you're continuing to expand your perspective. But there is a period where you do need to allow these energies to integrate and to settle. So again, when you get very much in this wow spiritual energy that just keeps flowing and flowing and flowing, like Edgar Cayce, where you could channel for like 8 hours straight and be like spaced out, right? There has to come a time when you do need to let the energy settle and integrate and ground, because there's major energy that's integrating, there's major energy that's kind of settling in the body. And the best way that we can allow it to settle, especially when you have a very active mind, especially when you have a very, very like powerful emotions, is to sleep. It's the only time when the guides can really let the stuff drop in us. Just let it drop. Because when our mind is very active, our emotions are really wild in a way of creativity, in a way of like empowerment. Sleep is sometimes the only way for us to really let go, drop, and let all of that energy just settle, like minerals in the body that just settle. But when we're go, 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 the energy is always high, high, high. Spiritual energy is always high. And things can never really kind of ground when it's just high, high, high all the time. So, and in the sleep, we're also going to feel really replenished, and we're going to feel very spiritually, we're going to get our spiritual strength back in the way that, again, any spiritual battles we've had, right, with people, with again, amount of people trying to climb over each other, right, with all of their trying to hassle and hustle and demand and entitlement, all of this stuff, we're stepping away, we're thinking new thoughts, we're thinking beyond, we're starting to really become more imaginative, and really starting to invite in individuals who actually who challenge us, right? Give us that tough love, give us that challenge, right? Give us that sort of that spirit dance, right? That spirit dance, in the way that spirit dance really unlocks these doorways towards higher abundance. I'm telling you, there's something very profound about these sort of celebratory, ritualistic, matriarchal societies, and the way that these societies usually have very, very high caliber humans, meaning humans in this society tend to have a lot of a higher self-worth and a higher self-esteem, right? In societies where spirituality is discarded, discredited, shamed, judged, those societies tend to be people who have low self-worth, low self-esteem, right? Meaning, and they don't know how to overcome their destroyer. They let their destroyer destroy them, right? And then they reap the consequences of that, right? So usually in a society where there is some sort of ceremonious, ritualistic, sort of you could say spiritual ability to navigate yourself and know what's going on with yourself, not just physically, but going on with you psychologically, emotionally, mentally, even sexually, those tend to be the people that do have you can say, a stronger life force, right? So life force really is about your spirituality. It really is about the life force, your high self-worth, your high self-esteem really does have to do with your ability, your tool, your gift, your talent of being able to tame the inner destroyer, master the inner destroyer, learn its ways, overcome the inner destroyer, right? And to excel creatively, right? Because that inner destroyer is really about keeping you creatively at a certain level. But when you start to spiritually grow, materially it shows, right? Because you start to experience more physical strength, emotional strength, psychological strength, and overall you start to experience more of a instinctual a trust in yourself, an instinctual ability to really create with impact, with power, with excellence, right? Not create with amount of people climbing over each other trying to get somewhere and get something, but then they drain their life force, they drain their emotions, their thoughts, and they just kind of create this murkiness with a bunch of people that they don't know. It's just mayhem, it's disorderly, and therefore it's just, right? So I'm going to leave you guys with this, and may it kind of bless your life, and thank you, and Satnam.